Check this one out. Do you like yarn that has long self-striping color where it changes on its own? For me, it's a hit and miss. I'll explain why. This here is our stitch along from spring 2022. The yarn changed color on its own, and for this kind of element, I loved it. I thought it was great, and when it changed, and I didn't have any issues, not with OCD, but just a mental issue of it changing without my control. So maybe I have a power control problem. But other projects, when it changes and I'm not ready for the change, I will literally have an emotional breakdown. This here was the study of planet Earth. And what I did in this one is that the yarn color changed on its own time frame, but it was changing at the wrong colors. So in the pattern that we did, I suggested to have an extra ball so that if the colors ended at the exact wrong spot, you could just grab that spare ball, just crochet the remaining of it so that you end up with an area that would be completely solid. So in other areas of this blanket, I just let it be and change when it wanted to. But when it's really critical to your eyes, I want to be able to control the color. So some projects work and other projects, it doesn't, at least for me. You can let me know in the comments. A product that I really struggled with was the Bernat Blanket Ogo. It changed color, and to my point of view, it's really difficult for me to emotionally process one of these balls because of that. I would have loved the Ogo to be in a solid color, and I would have probably been all over it because it's so much easier to start a Bernat Blanket Ogo than it is an original ball. But in other projects, this is made with Bernat Blanket Ogo, and this is a Sarah Zimmerman design. So what she did is pulled all three colors away from each other and then crocheted them individually as they went. So there's never a change of the Ogo within the project itself. It's all strategized. So for some people, like me, I struggle when I lose control, but another project like this, I can bring the control back to myself and still have a good time with the yarn. So it depends on the application. A recent project I just did was using Caron Big Cakes, and I was really connected with this yarn, but I did not want the yarn to control my story. I call it a color story. It is your story of your particular project. So what I wanted to do is that I separated all the 5 colors because I knew that they go together well. And so I made my own blanket using the color control. So instead of allowing the yarn to control me, I controlled it by separating the colors. So the advantage to the long self-striping yarn, to my point of view, is that the experts have actually did the colors together. That actually makes sense. For some people, they don't like it. Other people, they want to buy the individual solid balls and do their own story. But I think it's a great opportunity, especially for people like me that don't have that color sense of putting things together, to let the experts do it. Because when they decide colors for yarn balls and etc., it does go through testing, and it is decided by experts of color when they make it happen. Whether you like the color or not, that's completely subjective because it's like anything in life. Everybody has an opinion. This here is another project that I'm working with Caron Big Cakes on, and instead of each of the squares being individual, I've controlled the color by separating the color right directly from the yarn Ogo itself. And so then I have the beautiful yarns all individual, and I don't have a box that appears out of order for me. So for myself, based on my background for engineering with left always equals right, and to have the counterbalance, for myself, this suits my fancy, and for other people, they just let it do their own story and enjoy it all the same. So I think it's great to have a choice, and so when you want not to have a choice, I just let the yarn run itself out, great. And if you're like me, you want to control the colors, you can at least do that too. So I think it's a great thing for two sides of the brain.